King is back, baby. I'm on gas. Yo, Fresh Quick. He's fat.
You there, sitting at home, acknowledge me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Turnbuckle Weekly Podcast. I am your host, the Undertoker, the Sultan of Sativas, the Tribal Chiefer, Casey. And with me is my co-host and yours, my tag team partner, my hetero life mate, the human rest hold, Leon.
Grab a hold.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, back for round number whatever this is.
I don't know how many episodes in, but I will tell you that today we got a guest we've had on the list. We've been looking at this name. We're like, when's the time to do it? When's the time to do it? Went to Owensboro to see the show. Great handicap match.
Wonderful.
Figured what a time. I'm not going to eat up any more of this man's airtime because he will kill me. I'm very
He'll
afraid.
kill both of us.
It's Bo Sawyer today, folks. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing good. Hey, chilling's for the weekends. During the week, we just, a little bit of light main.
I've been all day long, like at work, because we work together and we'll sit and talk about this all day. And I've been all day being like, I gotta find different ways to say, like, don't kill me, stuff like that, because you are an absolute unit in there.
Absolutely.
Well, see, food is always a good bribe.
Yeah. All right, bet. I'll keep that in mind.
Rodeo burgers from Burger King, it's a sure bet that you will live that day.
Oh, then I will remember that the next show that I have something negative to say after you beat up somebody that
That's
I
right.
like.
That's right.
Because you have been beating up a lot of dudes I like there.
It feels good. It's my version of therapy in a way.
Dude, yeah, I could tell. Like, I could definitely tell. Like, we're watching. So, just a little background for like what we are aware of with the WWE. He had never seen a show before Independence Day. I had been to one show before. I believe you were on both the show I went to first and the second show I got to go to. You're on both of them. So I was at least going in familiar with who you were. I'd seen a bunch of your stuff on YouTube and everything like that. And because I like fell into a WWA hole for a little while. And we're watching you, and I don't remember what you did, but I'm looking over at this guy sitting next to me, and it's like he's looking at a car wreck. And I was like, are you all right? And he was like, that guy's big. And I was like, yeah.
It was the world's strongest slam that you did to Munchie at Independence Day. And I was like, oh my God, he died.
It's one of my, getting to be one of my favorite moves.
And it's so good.
Yes, Mark Henry did make it very famous, but I like to call it overhaul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Overhauling a few bones or vital organs that might be, moved and rearranged because of the impact as soon as you hit the ground.
It's so good.
Yeah, dude. And what we're hearing, like, I think it was Munchie we were talking to about that. Just about that match, and like we were like, how bad did all of that suck? I was like, I have a very limited view of in-ring stuff. I had some training, I did some things, but I've probably forgotten more than I ever actually learned. So he would ask me that, and I was like, dude, I don't remember. So like, I asked him, I was like, were your organs like displaced? I was like, I can remember taking bumps hurt, let alone power slams and this, that, and the other. And I was like, and you were giving it right back. And he was like, yeah, Bo likes to get hit hard, was essentially what he said.
Oh, absolutely. Because, there's been a lot exposed about the business, but, I'm one of these guys, I've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
And coming from a world of, I did do the, MMA stuff back in like the, 2005 era and everything. I want to be a physical person because I hate the, people just go out there and they throw crappy punches or they just make it look so unreal. Well, I want everybody to know what I do out there. It's 100% real. Like if you feel and you look like that person's getting slammed hard, something's happening. Well, 9 times out of 10, yeah, it's definitely going to be that because especially, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I put a little bit of intensity in my matches.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, dude, like,
I do have the tattoo that on my arm that I stole from a Rage Against the Machine song, saying "Anger is a gift." Well, it's just my time to share it with everybody.
I absolutely love Rage Against the Machine. It's been such a long time since I've heard anybody make a Rage Against the Machine reference. I used to listen to them in high school. I got suspended for wearing one of their I had a jacket and I had one of their patches on it I had ordered from like a metal magazine or something. I don't remember where I got it from. I begged my grandma for it forever. And I sewed that patch on the side. And it said RATM, and the A was like the anarchy style A. And I walked into school and was immediately suspended.
Wow.
Like immediately. I went to school in Alabama, middle of the Bible Belt. That didn't fly. Like, it did not fly. There was no such thing as being your own person. But, heavy metal and wrestling was always a language I spoke. And they just didn't dig it. It really sucks. So that's where I want to go with my first question. I usually have a question that's the same for everybody. And it's, how did you first get hooked into wrestling? I mean, I know generally the story is usually, I was a kid, I was watching this, I was watching that. Sometimes it's not always that way. I'm curious, what age were you when this started becoming an interest, and who was it in-ring wise that caught your attention to be like, this is something I think I'm going to devote, an hour, 2 hours a week to every week for the rest of my life?
Right. Well, man, at that young age, good Lord, 5 or 6, and I'll admit it, I'm an old head here. I won't go the specific number, but there's a 4 in front of my age. But hands down, had to be the Road Warriors. Two just monsters with face paint, spikes, and I'm a sucker for a Road Warrior Hawk promo. Just the way that he would come in, just and everything. Not realize until later on how quick-witted he was.
Yeah.
And just somebody would say something to him, and he would just spit it right back out, just like it was nothing. And Animal was the big guy, but just yelling like, we're gonna take you Koloffs and we're gonna beat you, we're gonna do this and that. But then Hawk would just have the most incredible replies, or just the most off the wall thing. Like, I can't remember who it was, if it was Demolition or who it was later on in the WWF years, but he was talking about like the natural disasters or somebody that he was talking to and referring to them as boogers, and how we're gonna get you, we're gonna roll you in our fingers, and we're gonna flick you in. And it was just like, I'm like, this guy's amazing.
Nobody.
With him, and you had Warrior, you had Hogan, and I'm a big Boss Man and Bruce Bulldog fan. But like the Road Warriors, 100% was what absolutely hooked me.
I used to be fascinated with them. I liked face paint, and it wasn't until later on, like, my dad was like a huge Crockett guy, and he liked Memphis and stuff, and he had some old tapes, and I've seen the video 100 times on YouTube now, but there was one promo that Hawk did. It's so funny, but it's just so good. It's like, like you said, Animal sitting there doing his thing. We're going to beat your butts. And he's screaming and yelling. And then he hits the thing. I loved when he'd be like, tell him, Hawk. And then he turns around, and Hawk just essentially threatens to sexually assault Ric Flair.
Yes, that's what I thought you were going with.
I love it so much.
I don't know how many times. It's the greatest promo. If nobody has seen that, absolutely have to see it. Because I'm like, he's going to do what to Ric Flair? Saying it without saying it. But, man, it was so good.
Oh, Rick's going to be like, woo!
I do it all the time to my old lady. I'm like, you're going to find out that some of our body ain't hard all the time, but you catch my meaning. And then she just goes, shut up.
Yeah, I would do that to mine, but, I wouldn't be threatening her with a good time, so.
Yeah, and yours would just hit you with a baseball bat on Saturday, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or a rock bottom or something. That's so
would
good.
definitely catch it. If not, if I'm just out of nowhere, I might catch a moonsault too. It just depends on where we're at.
Dude, we were watching, I don't know, was that Battle Royal? I don't remember where we were for that Battle Royal.
So the Battle Royal was in Bowling Green.
It was in Bowling Green, yeah, and like you and Snyder had that like double choke slam on, but
So
a little
good,
bit,
man.
like a little bit either before that or after that, she chopped you, and I turned around, I looked at Leon here, and I went, that was personal. I was like, that was home life, is what that was.
I'll admit it. There might have been some clothes that I didn't pick up, and I forgot to wash the dishes. So yeah, it was there. It was a little bit of receipt. Be like, hey, you gotta remember. And I'm like, I remember real quick. So yeah.
Now, question: does that also your all's ring stuff? Because we understand, or we were told that you both work at Walmart on 54, right?
Yeah.
Does any of that relate back to work? Like, hey, I'll see you when you clock out. Pow! And then just ties over and be like, all right, wait till Saturday.
Yeah. It used to not to, but now that we're actually both on day shift, I mean, that might actually happen. Now we're on the same schedule.
Oh.
I hated working for Walmart so much. I worked for the one on Fredica.
Oh man, dude! I'll tell you this: the first time, like, I moved over here around 2022, and I didn't realize. And we're out in the country. I didn't realize going to Owensboro. I didn't realize there were 2 Walmarts.
Yeah.
So it took me to the one on Fredica, and that was the most ghetto freaking Walmart I've ever been.
That's what everybody says. I worked there, 15 years ago, maybe mostly my son Sam's 12. So I say like 13 years ago I worked there. I met my ex-wife there, so it adds a double I hate it on top. Like
Totally understandable.
we
The funny part, when I first worked at a Walmart, it would have probably been 1998.
oh dude.
So I'm old as no, 1999. My bad, 99.
Well, I mean, you know, it's not too old. I don't think there's not too much of it. I'm in my mid 30s. There's not too much of
And
a
I'm not in
difference.
my 30s yet.
Yeah, this
so
guy's in his 20s. To hell with him.
26. I'm getting up there. Leave me alone.
Oh man, he shouldn't. All right, I'm just gonna talk to you the rest of the time.
That's what Clay Williams did. Cause
Don't even
they're
get me started.
Because they're smart.
Don't get me started on Clay.
No, that dude's so funny. This guy's been crying ever since Owensboro. He went to fist bump Clay because we did a really cool episode. It was a really fun one. And Clay went to fist bump him and then dissed him on it. And I've heard nothing but tears.
He saw me in the front row, like at the entrance, and the entire time he's walking around, he locks eyes with me, and I'm mean mugging him back. And he leans in real close, goes to give me a fist bump, and I get right up to him, and he pulls back and turns and walks away. I'm like, all right.
You're such a mark.
Oh, he said, what?
Perfect. I guarantee he was dancing the entire way too.
Yeah, he was.
I have to deal with this kind of stuff out of this guy all the time. Matter of fact, after our first show, we went through together and with Independence Day, a few days later, I told him I was totally going to tell you this, and he begged me not to, but I don't care.
Oh, great, here we go.
So after our show, after that show we come home, a couple days pass, he's like, hey, I need you to look at something on 2K for me and tell me how close I got. And this guy made you on 2K.
Nice.
And
Yeah, that's right.
hold on, this is where you're going to lose it.
No.
Then has the balls to lose every single match.
I played 3 matches.
Wow.
Hey,
Wow.
if it makes you feel any better, I kind of kept your persona because I beat up an old man.
Yeah, he did totally get a win.
Oh man. Wow. Okay. Here's what you gotta do. You gotta up them attributes, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you just whooped Schneider, and then this guy was like, "All right, I'm gonna have him whoop an old dude," and I was like, "That's not fair."
That was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen in Owensboro was him like double high-fiving your forehead, and then you just let him have it. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, man. It's one thing to like, hey, we're partners. You tag hands, you don't tag heads. That's
Right.
You know, we brought people who had never been before, so they just see you walk out and go, "No one touches my head," and he goes, "What is going on right now?"
Yeah, he was like, "What is happening?" I was like, "You don't touch Bo's head."
That's right. 'Cause if you look very closely, I've got some spots on there from the years, but there's a point up top, and he almost touched my point. And I made sure when I picked him up and I slammed his ass, he got my point.
And it's funny though, because like Natural Causes and Marauder, they were already around the front, and Snyder's at the back end of the ring, and he's like, "What just happened?"
It was super fun, dude. Which kind of brings me to the next question. Like, people on the show have mentioned like having ask you for advice backstage and like things like that, and just going to you for certain things. And then the phrase that always comes up: "He's the nicest guy ever." But in the ring, that's a very different ordeal. So like, how much of wrestling for you is mental versus physical? You're very physical in the ring, very big powerhouse, which we'll get to in a minute, because I love the powerhouse big men, especially throwbacks to like the LOD. But like, how much of it is the mental versus physical? Do you feel like it's 50-50, or do you feel like you can I can go out there and be mean and call it a day?
There's times like I don't necessarily have a ritual per se to mentally prepare myself what I'm gonna do, but I do go with a spray bottle, and it's kind of a calming thing to think about my match, how it's gonna go, and spray. And I mean, I come out and I look like it's baby oil or I'm sweating my ass off. No, I'm drenched. It's one of those things. I don't know. It's a calming. It's the calm before the storm. But just basically, it's like, all right, I know what I've got to do. I know what I'm going to do. But what kind of ride am I going to take these people on? What kind of story in that ring am I going to tell? And are they going to be able to follow? Are they going to like what I'm doing? Are they going to be mad what I'm doing? There's a whole lot of hats you wear as being a professional wrestler. And being a main storyteller is one of those. So it is that mental game, and is the physical. And here's the funny thing on the physical: I don't see myself as a big guy. I always say I'm not a big guy, but I do big guy stuff.
Oh, I like that.
But because like I'm like I was 6'1" or so. I'm actually down to 260. I was up around the 280 range, and that's. Yeah, it's a little, I don't mind. I'm a meathead. I love to lift heavy. But sometimes, especially as we get older too, it's a little hard on the joints. So it's a lot easier at this weight, a lot more mobile, and especially the longevity of it. I mean, I've been in January 5th of this coming year. I will be in professional wrestling for 22 years.
Oh, dude.
And that doesn't count. I've done little backyard stuff. Nothing crazy hardcore or whatever before I had actually got in, officially started training. But I mean, that's a lot of miles on the body. So it's one of those, trying to do a little bit of DDP, just stretching properly, not, when the time calls for it, I'll go crazy with some big bumps and do some stuff. But at the same time, it's, keeping the longevity of just my body. Because, I mean, I got kids too, I got to play with. And I don't want to be in a wheelchair at 50, but, sometimes we'll put it in fifth gear, and sometimes we kind of coast to the first. But at the same time, it's like, nah, you got to keep the body good, got to keep it moving.
You look like you still, and you wrestle like you still got plenty of miles left on the tank. So I think you're doing all right.
Like right now, I feel there's times when I wake up, I don't exactly feel like a spring chicken. But mentally and physically, for me, I feel like I'm in my late 20s. I feel pretty good.
Oh, I mean, like you said, the way you move in there doesn't seem that. Especially now that we're sitting here talking about body tip, keeping your body right. I told him there was a note. I wasn't going to tell him because he's trying to get into this, right? He's trying to break in.
You're trying to get him some heat, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, no. I love doing this to him because I got to keep him honest. But I was like, I'm going to write this down because I want you to tell him the story raw so he understands the full grasp. He spent our entire interview with Chris Waddell waiting on the chance to be like, hey, I really want to go to the next tryout. And so I've been... Okay. Yeah, he's trying to start late, so I've been trying to explain to him that bumping hurts. And I was listening to a podcast that you were a guest on, where you told a story about injuring yourself in a lockup, and I want him to hear this so bad, but I want him to hear it from the source and not me trying to tell it because it won't do it justice.
Gotcha. Okay, well, this would have been 2010 in, let's see, Albany, Illinois. I was actually wrestling under the first name I wrestled, which was Cody Strong. Myself and a buddy of mine by the name of Travis Weir, we had talked out a match. We were going to work, and as soon as the bell rings, we're starting. We circle. We go to lock up, and if you ever notice on the lockup and everything, a lot of guys will stomp and just get a good aggressive lockup, and Travis was probably 320 at the time, big dude,
Big boy.
and I don't know, maybe like 240 or so, I don't know. But we both go to lock up, and he stomps early a little bit before I did. The boards will reverberate underneath you when you're bumping, when you're doing anything. So foot placement is, key. But in this instance, he stomped early before I did, and when I locked up, I felt something wrong in my right leg, and I looked down, and my kneecap is dislocated. Like I can see it through, like, over my knee pad. And I'm like,
no.
oh no. So I grabbed Travis by the singlet. I said, get me the hell out of here. Pull him on top of me to pin me to get me out of the match. And as we fall and we bump, my kneecap popped right back into place. So absolutely just freak accident. But, I mean, like, I tried standing up. I couldn't put any weight on it. And the thing is, it was IWAU when they were in Albany, Illinois. The building, the venue was upstairs, like 2 flights of stairs. So it was like a Knights of Columbus building. And it was cool, but not when you're injured. And my daughter, who was not quite a year, with me and my ex-wife were there, we had to get her downstairs. I had to get me downstairs. And it was an absolute nightmare. I ended up missing my shoot job for a couple months. No surgery. I just dislocated my knee, and it was painful. And unfortunately, that's not the first time. I did it to my left one also. But that one, at least, I hit a cool move before it happened.
Right. See, I've been trying to explain it to him because he doesn't listen to anything I say. I didn't spend enough time, so I always, every time we do one of these, I'm like, please tell him that this is not as easy as he thinks it's gonna be. And
I'm up for it.
Yeah. And I've actually got one better. This didn't happen to me, but I'm trying to remember. I think his work name is Mojo McQueen. He's like the Voodoo King.
I know Mojo McQueen. Yeah.
Yeah. He and I had talked a few years ago at Heroes and Legends in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and we were just talking. You tell war stories. New guys you meet and everything. And I had said something about that, and he's like, "Man, I got one better." He was working somebody one night and went to go lock up, and as he went and he flinched, he tore his pec. Never touched the guy, but that jerking motion of just like, the sudden jerk and everything, he tore his pec clean off the bone.
Mm. Yeah, dude.
So I'm like, okay, you got me beat. So.
I told him, I was like, first time I took a bump in a really crappy ring in Owensboro. It was in the back of Bobby Wilson's furniture store. And,
sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's what everybody says. Listen, I told the story to Chris, and he was like, yeah, it makes sense. I'm a recovering addict. I've got 12 years clean from hard drugs, and I'm California sober now. But when I was on drugs, I was on heroin, I'm watching wrestling and just doing dope all the time and like doing opiates and stuff. And one day I was like, I can do this. I've always wanted to do this. I was like, I could totally do this. And so I talked to my dad, who's familiar with a bunch of people in Owensboro, and I was like, I think I'm going to go to wrestling school, man. I think I'm going to try to get into OVW or something, because I think they were just opening up when I was like 18, 19. They were just getting back going again, like heavy. And I was like, I think I'm going to try to go up there and get trained, or I'm going to go somewhere. And he was like, Bobby Wilson's like 3 miles away, man. I know him. Go down there, tell him you're my kid. You want to go bump? It's cool, man. And I go in there, and he, well, all right, we get in here and do that. And he tells me how to bump, but he doesn't tell me how to bump. He just said, take a bump, fall down. So I did, pissed myself immediately.
Oh, no.
Immediately. And he made fun of me so hard. Well, hey, you got to learn how to fall down, grab a hold, or whatever he says all the time. And I heard grab a hold so much, I was hearing it in my sleep. But like, dude, it was the worst. So I tried to tell him, like, dude, bumping hurts, let alone getting driven into the mat. That's worse.
Right.
Like,
Right.
It's so much worse.
When I first started and everything, I mean, it took me like a week or two to get over just the whiplash because it's it's such an unnatural thing to throw your body on the ground.
Yes.
And it takes time. I mean, back in them '04 days when I was, not so much first because I'd been doing a little bit of the backyard stuff, but we were just playing around. We weren't like actually taking bumps. We were just hitting moves on each other and thought it was cool.
Right.
But then when you get in an actual ring and then you throw your body back and it's like, oh, whoa, wait, that hurt. That sucked. And, you got guys, I've seen guys come in for their first times and they'll go in, they'll bump and they'll completely knock the wind out of themselves. They won't tuck their chin. And, I mean, they'll rock themselves up pretty good and realize real quick, maybe I don't know about this. Maybe commentator's a cool thing, or hey, you guys need a rest.
Yes.
It's there's sayings out there. It's not for everybody, which is very true. But I mean, if you're gonna try it and you're gonna go for it, just know it's gonna suck for a little while.
Yeah, I told him, I said, I took some bumps and I got some chops and wrestled a match or 2 or 3 or 4. And then I was like, I think I'm going to be a manager. Like, that's how managers start. Like, I can talk. I could get heat. I was really good at, like, pissing people off in the crowd. I was really good at that because I was just myself. I'm an annoying person. So I would just do that.
Pissing people off is a good choice words, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. I don't know where I was or what. I don't know exactly what I said. I went up to somebody and somebody was yelling at me and I said something to then a lady starts yelling. So I said something to the lady. Apparently it was this fella's grandmother. And I told her to sit her old ass down or something like that. And that was it. Like, he was jumping guardrails. He's ready to throw. And I was like, oh, I'm good at this.
I tell you the best line I ever had. I was up until this point, because who knows, I might still throw one out. So I'm in Mattoon, Illinois, wrestling for a place called Supreme League of Wrestling. This was, oh my gosh, probably 2008 maybe. And I'm on the outside, I'm beating on a guy, and we have a very big fan. And when I mean fan, 2.5 chairs. I don't know how much he got charged for admission, but I think we missed out. So he's sitting in the front row, he's heckling me, giving me all kinds of crap. And I turned around, said something. I turned it back, and I was like, "Oh, you're just late for your date with Little Debbie. I'll hurry up and get my match over with for you." And he's like, "Oh man, that was funny. You got me. You really cut me deep." I said, "Fat ass, the only way I'm cutting you deep is with a battle axe and a running start."
Oh my God!
His jaw hit the ground, and about 6 or 7 people are like trying not to laugh or laugh at the same time. But then I realized they get back to the back, and Booker's talking to me. He's like, "Hey, it's a family-friendly show, so maybe not say that next time."
Is that where the battle axe on your tights came from?
I mean, it is now. I didn't think about it, but I mean, that's a good call.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
As soon as you went with a gear change, like we saw you come out in different gear, he leans over, he goes, "I really like the new gear. That axe is awesome." I was waiting on how long it was going to be before he mentioned the axe on your tights. Oh man,
that's awesome.
That design was actually drawn up by a buddy of mine, Jeremy Hamilton. Actually, the shoulder pads I used to wear, that same design is on there. It was basically my Warbound logo. And it was just something he came up with, and I absolutely love it. And so I find a way to sneak it in there. And since I've been in the WWA, I've kind of, anytime there's been a little bit of a change, like when I first came in, it was the Monster Hunter, but it was more like the tactical version. And then it went to the Monster Hunter as almost like the Road Warrior type version. Teaming with Alex Beretta and the Warwolves, it changed, a little bit to more, I don't know, a little bit of a mix of Legion of Doom, but in a tag sense without the spikes. And then the Throne version was, I wore like a cutoff sport coat. I don't know, it was a little different. And then now it's evolved again. So anytime something happens with me, so there are little subtle changes.
Yeah, I have noticed that. Like, I just going back even today, like on my breaks, and anytime I had a chance to sit down, I would just pull my phone up and be like, all right, let's watch something from, and I just start time jumping around. And I did notice that. And then it made me write down like that Road Warrior look. You ever gonna bring that back? That's the coolest thing. I love face paint. Like, I love to. Like, did you stop doing the face paint because it just sucks to do it and take the time to do it, or is it just I don't need it?
I will say this: the time it is a little bit time consuming putting the face paint on, but that was my jump from teaming with Beretta to joining the Throne, and yeah, it went from somebody that people liked to maybe somebody that people don't like so much. I'm beating up on their favorites, or I'm beating up on Snyder, or I'm beating up on Munchie Gonzalez. You name them, I don't care who it is right now, I'll beat them up. But I will say, without saying it, never say never. That look totally could possibly come back one day.
Dude, I love it. Like, that's what drew me to, like, wrestling was the theatrics and the costumes. Like, Undertaker was the dude that, like, got me. Like, he's the one that got me. And my brother was, like, a Hulkamaniac. He's 4 years older than I am. He's almost 40 now. Like, naturally, everybody within that range was a Hulkamaniac, and like he was big into it. And I'm watching Undertaker on the screen, and Paul Bear's talking, and then Undertaker like turns around really fast, and like you see the paint under his eyes where it looks like he's dead. It scared the hell out of me. Ran away, ran upstairs, locked myself in the room.
Yeah, man, Survivor Series when he debuted, I couldn't hardly watch the screen. Like, I was watching the matches. But then when he tombstoned the hell out of Coco Beware, I'm like, he killed him. It was the stiffest tombstone, and I'd never seen a tombstone before. But I saw it, I'm like, he dropped him on his head. That guy ain't getting up. It just blew my mind. But yes, Taker back then, he might as well have been Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees. Like, he was a real life, slasher brought to life that was dead. If that makes sense. I was like, this guy's for real.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude. He was my dude, and then I saw the Road Warriors in '98. Like, when they come back, they're doing the LOD 2000 gimmick or whatnot. I see spikes, I see face paint, I see Sonny. That sells me right there, especially as a little kid. Sonny sold me, not so much anymore. But and I was like, who are these dudes? My brother's like, oh, that's the Road Warriors. He said it like, yeah, that's just some dudes. He's like, those are the Road Warriors. He didn't get it.
And it's funny, when LOD came back into the company, so the face paint that I was doing at the end there was actually a tribute to Droz. It was a little modified version of when he joined LOD as their alternate. So when he had passed, I did a little bit of it, and it was kind of and then I modified it a little bit more. But that look was totally based off of Droz.
Dude, Draws was so good. Rest in peace to Draws. I use him as the warning story. I have a 12-year-old son who he was born with some issues. He had to have a neck surgery, and but he's always wanted to be a wrestler. He's had to have 2 neck surgeries. Now he's good to go. We're getting his body ready, so when he turns 16, maybe we could see about it. And I always use Draws as that cautionary tale for him, just to be like, there are guys like Edge who had neck problems, and they come back from it, and they're fine. But there's also guys like Draws who take a weird, just a cut-of-the-mill power bomb, just a weird moment happens. And I was like, buddy, that guy was in a wheelchair till the day he died. And I was like, he couldn't move. I mean, I was like, and then I had to show him stuff because he's like, who's Draws? And then I realized I had to explain to my son why Albert was called Prince Albert. It started getting kind of weird, so I was like, okay. I forgot the Attitude Era was bad.
Yes, no, Casey, don't teach him bad stuff.
That's a cut too. Nobody really ever talks about Draws at all being a part of the Legion of Doom.
No, he was so raw boned, and I mean, he was a good pick. I think it's just nobody really got behind it. I don't know if there was anything backstage or there was any animosity because it was just Hawk and Animal, or what the deal was. But I mean, he wasn't bad. It's just he didn't have it, unfortunately.
Yeah. And, well, I think they reject it in general. Like, I watched Dark Side of the Ring on the Road Warriors, or it might have been just on Hawk. But like he had that run in Japan where him and Animal broke up over like a booking or something. I don't remember exactly what the problem was, but he also he tried to replace Animal, and it didn't go over. And then they did it again after Hawk died. They were like, "Oh, he's dead," so they'll accept it now if we just throw Heidenreich in there, which was awful.
Oh Lord, that was rough.
That was rough. That guy also tried to sexually assault another wrestler, so like a staff anyway. Michael Cole. Michael. I don't know if y'all. You probably remember that. Leon here was like in kindergarten when that happened. He doesn't remember that, but he said Michael Cole's here. You're very special to me. I was like, no.
But how much of a missed opportunity was it that we didn't get the actual tag team of Heidenreich and Snitsky?
Oh, that would have been phenomenal. That would have been great.
Two big physical dudes that creep factor up to 15 out of 10, but at the same time, man, they were physical guys and they could have got in there. I think they could have done some really good business.
I think they definitely would have. I mean, Snitsky alone, like that dude's so underrated. It's not even funny.
Oh yeah, and he's still not as much, but he's still taking bookings and doing stuff. But think about the timeline, because now you're looking at it when Snitsky clotheslined Paul London in the Rumble that year, and he went inside out, and everybody thought he died.
Yeah.
Think if we could have got the tag match with Snitsky and Heidenreich against London and Kendrick, the storytelling, I think, would have been amazing.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, Heidenreich was not a good wrestler, but I think he knew enough and could have gotten through that match, especially with, like, London and Kendrick, who were wizards.
Yes, definitely. Now, Paul London's a weird cat, but, I mean, he's still just incredible.
He is. My son was watching him today. He's like, Sammy watches a bunch of stuff to try to, like, figure out what he wants to do, because his gimmick changes every week.
It does.
And he was like, hey, Paul London, and that's all he said. And I was like, what about him? And he was like, why does he wrestle dressed like Elvis? And I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, what are you even on about? And he was like, I'm watching this match with him. It's like him and Joey Janela. I forget who he said it was. He's like, he's dressed like Elvis. And I was like, pull it up, dude. I was like, I think you don't know what you're talking about. And he pulls it up, and I'm looking at Paul London dressed like Elvis, like full on wrestling in the Elvis
no rhyme or reason.
Weird dude. Which I'm glad we're getting into this old cuts WWE, because I like to Facebook stalk before I do these things, because
he's a creep.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little creepy, dog. I sit in a hoodie and I put the hood up and wear mask and sunglasses while I do it.
That's
make it extra creepy.
Yeah. As long as you got your gimmick figured out, that's all that matters.
Oh no, I've since day one, brother. Since day one.
Look, he only inspires to be a Dexter Lumis of old.
Yeah, dude, totally. Mustache and everything.
Yeah,
but during my stalking, I find that you and I share a love for the European title.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to know why you love it. Like, I know why I love it. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Some of the best hands in the business have touched that strap. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like, the Intercontinental title was named the workhorse title, but whoever named that didn't think the European title was going to become what it became. So why do you love it so much?
Oh, the European title is so underrated, just because, the lineage of champions that it had, but the absolute first champion, and I'm pretty sure I'm wanting to say he was the longest champion. I might be wrong, but Davey Boy Smith, the British Bulldog, being the first champion. And it's actually a segue for me to get into the WWA, so this is actually pretty cool.
Nice.
Davey Boy, for me, was the perfect combination of skill, power, agility. May not have been the best promo, but the guy, to me, pun intended here for Lex Luger, but was the total package. And the funny thing is, for me, with Bulldog, I'm a big Bulldog mark. I love Davey Boy, and I'm actually cool, and I talk with Harry on the occasion. But for the WWA, to me, what drew me to it the first time I saw it was Jordan Whittaker. And Jordan Whittaker, I can very, very well compare to Davey Boy. Jordan was maybe not the biggest guy, but he was strong, he was agile, and you couldn't help but watch. And Jordan Whittaker, to me, is like, he's one of those guys in the WWA. That's my WWA dream match. I've got to work with a lot of guys in the company, not everybody so far, but especially if he came back, that's who I want to work with.
Oh, yeah. I hear his name a lot.
Yeah, man. Jordan, I mean, they had so much going on in the backyard before the transition to doing professional shows. Jordan was the guy. I mean, there was no denying it, but he beat himself up on that backyard, the backyard shows and everything so much. And in the early years of the company, unfortunately, that's why you're not seeing him in a ring right now, is because it's taking a toll on his body. And the bad thing is, he's not that old, like maybe mid-30s or so.
Yeah.
But it's one of the reasons. Like one of the last matches he had, actually the last match he had, was a hardcore match against Tyler Hawkins, which that match was amazing. But that was like every week what Jordan was doing, it seemed like, and it kind of burned him out a little bit on his body, and it sucks because, like I said, I compare him a lot to Davey Boy, and I would love to still, if he's able to, I want to get in there and mix it up with Jordan.
Oh, that actually, like, I just had to cross that out off the list. I'm so happy when that happens, because sometimes I can't segue.
You made his dream come
I was
true.
like, how am I going to segue into who would you like to be in the ring with? But you did say something about segueing into how you got into the WWE, so I'm super curious about that, because so I also cheat on research sometimes. It's really hard to find information, correct information, that is, because everyone can spin whatever narrative or story they want about whatever they want to talk about in that moment. Like when I did my research on you, it pulls up you and somebody else whose shoot name is your name, but they wrestle by a different name. So I ended up getting both. So I had to just like limit it down. But I noticed like when I did nail down the info that I was getting was you kind of been like a little bit of everywhere. So what got you into WWA? Was this like early on in like they're just coming out of the backyard days, or like when did you come into there and how did you make that happen?
Well, in the WWA, I'm wanting to say it was now Halloween Hell 2022. Since then, I've been with the WWA full time. Earlier in the year, there were two shows prior that I'd been on. The first show was called Pride is the Devil. I had wrestled my kayfabe kid, Clayton Clark, and then we came back for the War. And since, let's see, it would have been the War, and I would be lying if I hadn't said that, yes, I was a Jordan Whittaker guy for the WWA, watching it on the early end of it, but something about Lizzie Six had drawn me. And I was like, okay, I'm seeing the girl and everything, which, hey, she was catching my eye, but at the same time, I'm like, she's in there with all the guys. I'm like, she's the only girl I'm seeing, and I'm like, she's either taking these crazy bumps or, maybe not to the level of physicality she's at now, but just something drew me to her, and I'm just like, okay, like maybe I'll get a chance to let's see her, introduce myself, talk to her, whatever. And Pride is the Devil, got to talk to her a little bit, not very much. It's kind of like an in passing type thing,
Right.
kind of testing the waters there. I'm like, okay, wasn't really much there. Just a high. And unfortunately, through the time I was going through divorce.
Right.
But came back into the War, and it was actually, there was a group sitting around a TV, and I will always, always have to thank Logan Legit. Because Logan I met twice, and it's the only time I got to hang out with Logan and be around him. Such a warm, inviting, bubbly person who I don't think, like, I'm sure there was times being mad or whatever, but like I didn't see it. I'm sitting there and I'm kind of looking at the TV, but she's catching my eye because she's talking with a couple people and laughing, and just it seemed just like a great time. And Logan kind of come up and is like, hey, we should go talk to her. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm watching the match.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but, and I'm like, well, do I just go up? And she's like, yeah, just go talk to her. She's a damn good girl. And it just kind of gave me the nudge in that direction. And the funny thing is, it's around teardown, and we're all kind of in a circle talking. And as she walks in the room, and I'm going to tell the story anyway, we kind of introduced myself and everything. I was like, "Oh, hey, I'm getting divorced," and just kind of randomly out of nowhere, it's kind of like the Happy Gilmore thing in the first movie where he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, my girlfriend's dead. She got hit by a bus." It was kind of like I compared it to that, and I'm sure it was awkward for her at first. Like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And like the funny thing is, afterwards we had kind of talked through Facebook Messenger a little bit, and I think it took her a little bit to figure out that I was actually not like hitting on her, but I was trying to like talk and like trying to maybe see if anything was out of the possibility. And I think I had to come out and just say it.
Yeah, dude.
So that happens.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel you on that. When I was going through mine, which now we're cool, but when I was going through my divorce, we were not cool. And like, I get everything going with my girlfriend now, and I don't know, she asked me something about my ex-wife, and I was like, yeah, she fell off a cliff or something like that. And she was like, I just saw her today. She did not fall off a cliff. And I was like, but a man can dream. I was like, a man can hope.
I know what went through my head, so maybe she did.
Yeah, like, dude, oh my God, man. And that's something else is, like, I just think it's really cool that you get to go and do what you love with who you love. Like, that's really, like, I know that's probably, like, the corniest thing I've ever said on this show. Probably ever said in my life. It's top 3 softest things I've ever said, for sure. But, like, to do what you love with who you love is great.
Right. And it's the best thing, because out of any kind of relationship that I've been in or whatever, this is the person that I don't have to explain the next day after the show, like, my body hurts and stiff, or I got this bruise, or I got, hey, look, where did this chop mark come from, or something, because she's right there with me, kind of thinking, saying the same thing. She's been in not as long as I have, but at the same time, having those times also, you always hear about guys riding together, and that's the road wives or whatever. Well, mine's actually going to be that. We are engaged, and like the best times is like going to shows, and either for us, I mean, we're wrestling heads. We love our company. We love the WWA. We're either listening to the System Shoots podcast, or the 3 Company Killers, or just jamming out to whatever music. Unfortunately, right now, there's an abundance of K-pop music I can't get away from right now. It's even stuck in my head, and I heard it at my job today, and somebody's like, hey, isn't that song you don't like? And I'm like, oh my God. I can't get away from it. But no, as far as the relationship, man, it's amazing. And we have got to work in the ring together, on the same team and against each other, and it's great. I mean, I love it. I don't have to explain it. It's the love we both have for wrestling and the business, and wanting to make our characters better, or hey, I want to try a new move, what do you think about this? It's like, I don't know, let me pull it up, let me see, okay, here's the mechanics, here's this, you can throw it in your match in this spot. It's amazing. And that's just, the wrestling side of it. And then there's all the good lovey-dovey stuff. Yeah.
Like, you get to go out there, you get to, like, get chopped half to death, and then go back there and her be like, are you okay? Like, are you good?
No, she was mad. Then she gives me shit afterwards because she said I blocked it. I didn't think I blocked it. I was just stopping it to go to the next spot that was called. So.
Yeah, she calls it blocking. You call it transitioning. We agree to disagree, and we move about our day.
And then she slams you real hard.
Dude.
Exactly.
But, I had this written down as something different, but I'm going to change it. Since you don't really consider yourself a big man, I have a cheesy, like, corny Mount Rushmore question, but we had that Road Warriors thing there for a minute, so now I want to switch. If I had to ask you to, like, make a Mount Rushmore tag teams, what do you think it'd be for you? I just like doing this, I like sharing this, it's fun.
Okay. It's funny because earlier this week, out of nowhere, somebody said something about Mount Rushmore tag teams, and I'm like, oh, okay. So that actually works, and it got me ready for this.
Yeah, heck yeah, dude.
So number one obviously has to be the Road Warriors. They cannot not have that spot. Number 2 has got to be the Dudley Boys.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 3, is got. Do I have to put him over? Yeah, I'll put him over. Got to be the Rock and Roll Express.
Okay.
For sure.
And number 4, underrated, not rated enough, has got to be the Nightmare Violence collection of Terry Bam Bam Gordy and Dr. Death Steve Williams.
Dude, I love Terry Gordy so much. So slept on.
Terry
He's
Gordy,
so
man.
slept on, man. Like nobody it's so frustrating.
And the funny thing is, nobody realized Terry Gordy back in the day, except for a select few, didn't realize he was the executioner.
Right.
I'm like, come on, guys, do your homework. Read your Bible. Come on now.
Look what he look at him, look at the executioner, just the way he's built alone.
Right. Yeah.
And see, I gotta know though. You had to ask yourself about rock and roll. Like, do I put him over? Why do you gotta question it?
I don't know. Ricky's Ricky. One of the first couple times meeting Ricky was at the Coliseum in Evansville, and he would, I'm sitting there talking with him. He's like, "Hey, you see up there in the bleachers all the way up in there?" I'm like, "Yeah, I had a ride over there. I had one in that back corner over there." Just kind of like, "Oh, damn, Ricky! Like, there's a lot of places and a lot of seats in the Coliseum." He's like, "I know, and I've been to a lot of." I'm like, "Yeah, that's for damn sure."
I don't remember who told us. I think it was Ray told us that too. That we were talking about something.
It's true.
Yeah, Ray was like, Ricky Morton talking about rats all the time. I was like, I don't know why this doesn't surprise me. I've never met Ricky Morton. I've only seen him on TV. I used to be fascinated with him. I say used to be like I'm not still a little bit, but I was fascinated with that Ricky Morton cell that got that mullet flapping there. He's on the ground moving his head trying to get to the ring. Help me.
I look at it in a way, and I'm pretty sure that John Cena, either growing up or got in the business, somebody told him, "Hey, watch Ricky Morton matches." Because he had the formula of going out there and shine your ass off, but when you sell, you sell. And then you have that big fiery comeback. So I'm pretty sure if Cena says that Ricky Morton wasn't an inspiration for his selling, I call bullshit.
150%.
And the fact that he has 250,000 miles on the tank is insanity, and he's still going.
Yeah, he's still. Yeah, I was gonna say still going.
And he looks good out there for the most part. So Casey,
it wasn't that long ago. He just hit a freaking Canadian destroyer again at however old he is.
Yeah, he's been hitting them. That's what I was telling him the other day. I was like, I don't understand what is happening. I didn't even know that had happened.
He's aging backwards.
I was listening to Jim Cornette. I love his podcast. And I'm listening to him review something. And he's reviewing the Rock and Roll being on AEW, like doing something with FTR and the Bucks, and I guess they hit one of the Bucks with he hits not necessarily a springboard, but like a sunset flip over the rope. He does something where he gets over the ropes and hits one of the Bucks with the Destroyer, and Jim Cornette didn't lose his mind. He wasn't like, Ricky Morton, what is Ricky Morton doing? Going off like he does. He didn't do any of that, and he goes, Ricky Morton gets in the ring and hits Destroyer. And then I was like, waiting on him to yell. And he was like, better than these young guys. I was like, I got to go see this Canadian.
He does it really well.
If Cornette's playing it straight like that, it's like, whoa, hang on here.
That's my guy. I get so much flack from everybody about Cornette and the love I have for Jim Cornette. That is my number one. When I wanted to get into wrestling, it was like maybe a manager. He was 100% who I pulled everything off of.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's so good, dude. And he used to have these segments. Leon doesn't remember these either. So I'm going to reminisce with someone who was born during a good time of professional wrestling.
I'm so sorry that I wasn't born back in the 1970s.
Well, I'll talk to your mother about it tomorrow.
Okay.
It wasn't the 70s. I was born in the 90s, dick. And so Cornette used to do those segments where he was like, this isn't the WWF's opinion, it's just my opinion about something. And he would just shoot for 3.5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, and not take a breath.
No, never took a breath. That's how you know it wasn't scripted. They just told Jim Cornette to get in front of a camera and talk about 4 people you hate. And he was like, Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper. And throwing them out there.
I just seen it on some reel or something the other day. it was, you got to think, Cornette's gimmick when he first got in, he was a spoiled rich kid
Yep.
who had like a trust fund or something like from his mom, or his mom would pay for everything.
Yes, his mom paid for everything.
I think it was Dick Murdoch. He was talking about, it's like, well, Dick, you went to the store, you got this, like 12 pounds of chewing tobacco, you got this many beers or something like that. It's like, it's all right, we love you, we're going to pay for it, but we got to reconsider, cut back on some of this stuff a little bit. And it's just like, oh my God, that's so good, because you want to hate that.
Yeah, and I really just don't think that anybody told him to do anything.
Probably
I think
not.
he just was like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I'm going to say. And what I love about him the most is he doesn't care. He got canceled for a comment he made, and it wasn't, they were like, it's racist. Well, if they would have listened to the punchline, they would have understood that's not what he said. He's actually an incredibly liberal fellow, come to find out.
Right.
And
I'm guessing this was was this on the NWA?
yes, that thing he said about Trevor Murdoch or whatever he calls himself now.
Right.
And he said that thing about he could ride through Ethiopia with a backpack full of fried chicken and get out with it, essentially. And everybody was like, oh, chicken, Africa.
Yeah. Yep, and that was it.
I was like,
The
no,
only
they're
interaction,
hungry.
the only interaction I've had with Jim, I've met a lot of people through Heroes and Legends Wrestling over in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a minute.
And he was there, and I just wanted to introduce myself. There was like a seminar. I can't remember if this time it was Terry Taylor or if it was Ricky Steamboat, but I will tell you, both of the seminars made me feel like I didn't know anything about wrestling. So we get out of the seminar, and everybody's kind of at their booths and everything. They're getting their autographs, or they're selling their merch. And I see Jim just standing there, and I'm like, oh, I got to go up and introduce myself. And which I've worked 2 people on something too, which is even better. So I introduced myself, and I'm wearing a Black Panther shirt. And he's like, oh, Black Panther. It's like, it was a good movie. I really like it. And I was like, okay, so it's like, if we're talking Marvel and DC and their rival companies back in the day, and you can pick a booker to run both of them with their movies, who's running what? And without missing a beat, he said, oh, that's easy. Bill Watts is running Marvel, and Vince Russo is booking DC. And this was like when the movie qualities was just not the best on DC. And the best thing was, I told him my name. He's like, oh, I remembered your dad. And I'm like, oh. And the funny thing is, I got the same reaction from Kenny Bolin when I was over at OVW, because they thought Buzz Sawyer was my shoot dad.
I was about to ask that, if they were talking about Buzz.
Yeah. Which is funny, because if you look at it, the power slam I used, what was Buzz famous for, other than training The Undertaker, quote unquote, it was the power slam.
It was. And I didn't even put 2 and 2
It was his
together.
finish back in the day.
Yeah, especially with that like middle rope, just disgusting guttural roar, and just slamming the bejesus out of any poor soul it was.
So we're talking about this Legends of Wrestling thing. I'm super interested in that because I have some friends I've met through the business time to time that go to those things, and they always talk about like getting to see this person, getting to see that person, getting to talk to this person. Who do you think is like, when you showed up, like you got starstruck and you see like this person here? Who was that for you?
Oh man, honestly, and he was cool and chill as he could be, but it was honestly Jerry Lawler. And it was even funnier after that, because I got to be in a 6-man tag, and between him and Bushwhacker Luke, nicest guy ever, called and let me know. He's like, hey, there's a battle royal going on. You want to do something for me? And I'm like, absolutely. What can I do? He's like, well, I'm gonna march in, and you're gonna grab me by the neck, and you're gonna send me right back out. I said, yeah, absolutely. I will be glad to do that. And it was the coolest thing. Like, I had goosebumps doing it. The most simple thing ever, but was a part of, a Royal Rumble history that had happened, and he let me do that same spot. And I was like, that was freaking cool. But no, Lawler definitely, and Jerry was just chill. He went to the very back of the locker room, pulled out I don't remember what paper he was reading, and he just read his paper, and, not realizing how approachable he was just catching up on his paper, and anybody that wanted to come up and talk to him, he would make time for him. So I was like, that to me was awesome as hell. But at the same time, I'm shaking his hand, and he looked down, and he's like, Well, you got goosebumps. You didn't get a pop. You just got a handshake. Now go get your hot dog and go sit down. And I thought it was funny as hell because it sounded like Cornette a little bit, but at the same time, it popped the hell out of me. But absolutely a cool dude.
Man, you look like you want to say something. I'll give you the
No,
chance.
I'm just listening. Okay. So I ask everybody that's on our podcast the same question. My biggest thing is finishes, and you said that you were a huge fan of Mark Henry's World's Strongest Slam, the overhaul, whatever. Where did you come up with that? Almost like a back suplex into the black hole slam, because that is a thing of beauty.
Oh, where you hit the boss man slam from the
It's
side.
so good.
Yeah, from the side.
I love it.
Yeah, it's I wish I could take credit and say that it's my own creation. Even though I do have a little bit of a judo background, and it actually is a little bit of judo with pro wrestling mixed in. There's actually a guy. He's been in the Nightmare Factory since like the inception of it. But he goes as the warden. And I had seen this move. Somebody had sent me something, and I seen it in like a move compilation, and I'm like, "Whoa, what was that?" And I've watched it like 500 times at least just to see the mechanics of it. And I was I love Abyss. I got to work with him a couple times also, and I've always loved the Black Hole Slam. But with the WWA, Jones, when he comes in and out and everything, that's his primary thing. And I'm like, I'm not going to take that from him. But I'd seen this, and I'm like, I bet I could do it. And I think the first person I hit on it was Landon Sugars. And I said, "Do you trust me?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right, cool, come here." And I just, I hooked him, and I put my hip into him and went around. And I'm like, "Okay, I got over, so we'll use it, later on." And the funny thing is, the first time I actually hit it on a show, I didn't put my hip into him at all. And I was like, I just hossed him around. And I didn't realize until I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh, okay, so I could probably get bigger people on this pretty easy. But it's just something I saw that was different. One of the little things that nobody else had really stole yet. So I will completely 100% say that I did steal that move. The two finishes I have, which I'm not really, I will tease the hell out of it. I will say that. To hit this move, and it's my World Breaker, which is Lance Archer in AEW, which I love Lance, has the blackout.
Yeah.
Well, he was just inverted crucifix slam, basically, and just kind of yeet you over, and you just land. Mine is kind of a combination of him and Bulldog, because I do love the power slam. It's that to the cross, the crucifix, drop him down to my shoulder, and power slam. Those are my two big finishes that just, to me, they're eye appealing and they're impactful.
Oh, it's awesome.
So it's kind of like, that Davey Boy philosophy. I said, he's got the look, he's got the strength, he's got the agility. So it's very like eye appealing and eye catching, to where when one of those moves is hooked or something like that, it's going to be a big impactful slam.
Dude, yeah. That's why we were watching, like, he's going through videos, like, 'cause he really likes the moves and stuff like this. He's going through watching it, and he was like, "Look at that." He's like the razor's edge, but backwards. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, Lance Archer will do that and then flip it into a thing. And then he goes, "Oh, well, this one's going to go." He kept saying pile driver. He meant to say power slam.
No, power driver
and
was so good.
I was like full on yelling at him. I was like, "It's a power slam."
I mislooked at it. Don't yell at me.
The pile driver.
Like you were trying to whisper as we're talking on the line. It's like,
If you would like
I
to
can
do
hear
it
you.
into a pile driver, I give you complete permission to do so.
See, and here's the thing: you got to think Ray Waddell does the Gonzo bomb.
He does, yeah.
He can go from razor's edge down to that pile driver. So, it is a thing. It's a thing of beauty. But I tell you, I'm not going to take it. But it looks like it sucks.
Yeah, no, I was just, dude, that will kill someone. Kill them.
Absolutely.
I show him how I did pile drivers, and I was like, I go on my back because I'm afraid that I'm going to kill somebody. I pretty much just flat back bump when I go down, because that way at least my leg is bent, your head's off the mat, and you got enough of me to hold on to. I was like, pile drivers are scary. They're terrifying, but they look so fun.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And you wonder why they're outlawed in the WWE, essentially. There's guys that'll hit it every now and again just to be like, oh, hey, here's this. But at the same time, you see it, and sometimes they can be hit, and it's like, well, okay, he hit it. But other times it can't get hit, like when Kevin Owens brought it up against Cody. I think it was, Saturday night's main event?
It was, yeah.
And he hit it. It was, you heard everybody gasp because they thought legit he broke Cody's neck.
Yeah.
It was so sick. Everything about Kevin Owens' run before the neck surgery it has just been great. I've been a big Kevin fan for a long time, but it's just one of those moves that, like, I'm not about the brand loyalty. I watch both shows, but I know I can turn on one show and I'm going to see 17 pile drivers cross that card. I'm going to watch WWE. I'm going to see one in 3 months, and it's going to mean something. Like the old Memphis Wrestling. Jerry Lawler hit that pile driver as a finish, but it meant something. It put you out.
Yep, exactly.
I miss wrestling. I sound like an old man. Like, I feel like my dad being like, "In my day, wrestling."
Yep. And then you get some guys, and I'm sure she's going to listen to it back. She's not the room currently, but some people will say a DDT is a finish. Which, hey, can it be used in the right way? Absolutely.
Yeah. Sure can.
If you're Lizzie Six and you hook somebody's head, run up a buckle and plant them, that's a damn finish.
That's a finish. Exactly. That's what Jake the Snake said. Mm-hmm. Everybody out there using DDTs is fine, but when Jake hits it, it's over.
Yeah. There's something different. Yeah.
I love that guy, too.
Well, and he said, they asked him, they said, what would it take for somebody to use the DDT as a finisher again? He said, for somebody to use it as a finish. Plain and simple.
Yeah. Anything can be a finish, dude. Yeah. Anything.
As long as it looks right. 100%.
But, so we've reached that hour mark. I like to keep an hour because time is finite. We only get so much of it, and anytime anybody sacrifices any of theirs to me, I try to be at least semi-respectful of it because we have lives and we have things going on. But there's one question that, again, we have our 3 points we hit that we hit with everyone just because if anything, we're consistent. Say what you will about the show, but we are at least consistent. But our final question we like to close with is, Leon and I are big fans of self-reflection and hindsight, thinking about, man, if I could have done this different, how would I have done it? And then just using that to move forward, to not make the mistake again, to not, to do things like that. So the question that Leon, I'll put him over on this one, and this was his question. If you could go back, you get one charge in a time machine, you get to go back, and the destination is you on your first day of actual wrestling training, coming out of the backyard into essentially the indie scene. You get to tell that guy one piece of advice that's gonna stick with him and maybe make the journey a little easier. What would that be?
It probably would have been, it might sound a little goofy, not really goofy. If I tell the story with it, it'll make sense.
Go for it.
Enjoy the trips to Nashville with Jesse. Now, what that means, I had a buddy who I rolled up and down the roads with. We met probably in 2008 by the name of Jesse Meredith. He wrestled as Drake Graven. Unfortunately, he passed away from a suicide in 2014.
Oh, man.
And he and I had, probably in mid-2011, had started going to Nashville, Tennessee to wrestle for Showtime All-Star Wrestling, who Dirty Dutch Mantel was actually a commentator, and he's the one who got us the hookup for it. We went up there, and we wouldn't so much goof around. It was a lot of quiet, hey, what about this? We would only talk about matches and stuff, and he would either fall asleep or, something, but it's one of those to where I wish, we got a little bit more in depth. We were buddies. He was one of my best friends, but just, really getting into the conversations about, hey, what about this? Or, hey, what if we did this? Just time. That's one of those things we unfortunately can never get back. But just enjoying those more and having a lot more fun on those trips.
Yeah, for sure. Man, I can't think of anything better to leave it on. It, which comes back to the outro that really ties in. like I say every week, guys, time is finite. We only get so much of it. Appreciate what you have. Love yourselves. Love each other. Because we're only here for a short amount of time. We need to enjoy the time we have. And the least we can do is enjoy the time we have with this crazy, crazy thing we love that is pro wrestling. But what I want to do now, that I stole from Hot Ones, what I want to do now is I want to give you 30 to 90 seconds, whatever you need. Just, let everybody know where they can find you on the socials, where they can see you next as far as WWE appearances. And just to preface, because I realize that everyone asked this same question, the episode will go out tonight. So just as if you were telling everybody live, where can they see you next? Where can they find you on the interwebs?
All right, sounds good. Well, you can always find me on Facebook at Bo Sawyer. There is a fan page that is the Monster Hunter Bo Sawyer. I am in the crazy world of TikTok. It is Monster Hunter _ Bo Sawyer. On the world of Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, at Bo Smash U. Instagram over there at WorldBreaker82. And you can always catch me at the World Wrestling Alliance, especially this Saturday in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
And we are so going to be there. I'm
Absolutely.
taking the kids. The kids are excited, man.
We're going to be front row.
They're super ready. I can't remember which one of them because they both look alike and sound alike and behave alike. But one of them is super, super big on you. So I can't. It's Stark because he didn't get to go last time. It's my youngest, or not my youngest, the next to youngest, because I keep forgetting that there's a whole baby that exists. Like this, a whole thing.
You got to get some ginkgo biloba in your life, brother.
Oh, dude, it's too many kids, man. That's what it is. I've got a litter of them running around, and it has destroyed my brain. But he was disappointed that he didn't get to see you on the last one. As soon as I told him we went to wrestling, he went to go see Fantastic Four. He was like, "Did you see Bo?
Was Bo Sawyer there?
He said, "Did you see Bo? What did Bo do? Who did he wrestle?" And I was like, "Oh, he wrestled Natural Causes, which we have Thursday interviewing both of those guys." And I was like, "And Marauder." And he's like, "Who's his partner?"
Oh, that guy.
Oh yeah. he goes, who was Bo's partner? And which, if you've ever met the kid, this is exactly how he sounds. I'm doing a spot on impression. Who's his partner? And I was like, it was Snyder from the Golden Gods. And he's like, why does he like him? I was like, I don't think he likes him, buddy. I think they just put him together and that's what they got to do. And he's like, whatever, did he beat him up? And I was like, well, of course. He goes, okay. And he just walked away. He was satisfied. He was like, all right. Snyder got beat up. But
now you'll have to let him know, since there was no Golden Gods, plural, that were both there. Snyder and myself, for that one night only, were basically the old gods.
That's right.
That's brilliant. Chris, I know you're going to listen to one of these eventually. Book it. Book it.
Come on, Chris.
Come on, man. But anyway, guys, this is where I'm going to bring it to an end. I got to go feed some children. Like I said before, love yourselves, love one another. Let's watch wrestling and just get along, man. Put your phones down, touch grass.
That's right.
Do some stuff, man. Whatever you got to do to get through the day, unless what you got to do to get through the day is hurting people.
Like Bo Sawyer.
Yeah, no, that's a different kind. We like that. That's entertaining.
No, that's also true.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Love it. Thanks, Mom.